Fends off Thomas, tries to get back to him. Smith missed it badly. It caroms out to James with a new shot clock.
What makes this play impressive? Many would say the pass is what stands out. They wouldn't be wrong, but this is a mistaken definition. The pass itself, the technical, physical act of delivering the ball, is simple. A high school player can execute that in isolation. So if the action isn't what's special, why do we instinctively know that this is genius? Because the wow isn't in the action, it's in the decision. It's not what he did, it's how he knew how to do it. And that question is the one that gets us in the mind of the athlete. This focus on the mind runs counter to how we evaluate the game. We are obsessed with what we can measure. The physical, things like vertical leap, wingspan, height, and the technical, shooting mechanics, handle, etc. They're identifiable, they're concrete. Just focusing on these skills would be like music critics who only judge a musician by their technical ability to play scales, while ignoring their ability to improvise and jam. The best players, like the best chefs, aren't who they are by just following recipes. They're tasting the dish, they're improvising, and they're problem solving. This is that third invisible layer. Coaches have simple terms for it. They might say a player plays the right way or has a good feel for the game. But what is this feel? How does it manifest, and is it an innate gift or a skill that can be forged? Let's start with the first most basic question. What is feel? The reason it's so nebulous, so hard to define is because feel isn't one thing. It's an abstraction. It's a simple catch-all word for a stack of deeply complex, near instantaneous processes happening all at once. We do this all the time to make sense of the world. Take charisma. We don't consciously analyze a person's high emotional intelligence, their verbal fluency, their perfect comedic timing, or their confident, open body language. We just experience the result, and we call it charisma. We've bundled all that complex, invisible data into a single, simple feeling. Basketball feel is the exact same thing. It's a black box. We see the genius play on the outside, but the process inside the mind is hidden, and that makes it incredibly difficult to analyze. One of the best attempts I've seen to break down this abstraction comes from Evan Zaucha in an article called The Art and Science of Feel in Basketball. I'll link it in the description. He defined feel as the sum of components like pattern recognition, visual processing, and processing speed. Zaucha's work is a fantastic deep dive into feel backed by science. I'd highly recommend you guys read his piece. For this video, I'm building on that foundation by breaking feel down into its core processes. At its core, feel is problem solving. The highest field players are the most elite problem solvers in the game. They consistently find the correct solution at high speed, making them impossible to guard or impossible to score on. So how do they do it? How do they arrive at these genius decisions? The entire process is built on a foundation of two key components: spatial awareness and pattern recognition. First, spatial awareness.
Jokic. Oh, what a no-look.
Hitting.
Brown buries the three. Full dish from Jokic.
His spatial awareness is stunning.
This is the scanner. It's the brain's ability to build a live 3D map of the court. It's the real-time data gathering that answers the critical questions. Where is the help? Is my defender watching the ball? It's a constant high-speed process of updating the current state of the game. But spatial awareness only tells you what's happening now. Pattern recognition is what tells you what to do next. If spatial awareness is the scanner, pattern recognition is the library. It's a massive learned database of past experiences. Every play a player has ever seen, every success, every failure is stored in this library. This is the production line of feel. Take a look at this example with Grady Dick. The scanner, spatial awareness, identifies the current pattern. Shea's back is towards him and the defense is focused on the ball. The library, pattern recognition, instantly searches its database, finds a matching file, and provides a solution to cut down the middle of the floor. That entire process, scanning the court, identifying the pattern, and finding the solution, happen in less than half a second. So what determines the speed of that whole process? This is our next component, processing speed. If spatial awareness is the scanner, pattern recognition is the library, processing speed is the clock speed of the entire system. It's what determines how fast your brain can run the scan, search the library of past patterns, and find the solution. This is why two different players can see the exact same pattern, but only one of them reacts in time. A player can have a brilliant library of solutions, but if their processing speed is slow, they're always half a second late. They find the right solution just as the opportunity disappears. But this entire production line, the scanner, the library, the clock speed, has one critical dependency. It cannot run well if the player's mind is already occupied. That brings us to the great enabler of field, automaticity. Think of a player's conscious brain as a computer CPU. It has limited, finite amount of processing power. A rookie learning to dribble in the NBA has their quote-unquote CPU at 100% load. They are actively thinking about the technical skill. Don't lose the ball. Don't carry. Because their mind is full, they have zero mental space left to run their feel engine. They can't scan the court, they can't see the patterns, they have tunnel vision. A veteran's dribbling is automatic. The skill is so deeply learned that it's subconscious. It takes up almost none of their CPU. Automaticity is the skill that frees up the mind. It's what enables a player to stop thinking about the action and start focusing on the decision. And that brings us to the final output of the entire field system, the decision. This is where we can finally separate the great players from the geniuses. Because field doesn't produce one type of decision, it produces two. The first level is the reactive decision. This is when the field engine identifies an opportunity as it happens. The defender's head is turned, the rotation is late, and the player instantly finds a correct, pre-learned solution from their library. This is high-speed problem solving. It's brilliant, but it's still a reaction to what the defense or offense gives you. The second type is a proactive decision or manipulative decision. This is when a player doesn't wait for a mistake. They create one. They're not reacting to the current pattern, they are creating a new one. The no-look pass isn't just a party trick, it's a manipulation. It's a lie that forces the defense to react to a fake future, while the player acts on the real one. They aren't just reading the play, they're writing it. So, we have this complex four-part system of scanners, libraries, and engines. This brings us back to our central question. Is this something you're born with, or is it something you can learn? The most honest answer, it's both. The best way to think about it is like a video game RPG. Every component of field is a different skill, but they don't all level up the same way. First, you have skills with a skill cap. This is your processing speed and spatial awareness. These are the innate components. Your genetics set a skill cap, a potential ceiling that you're just born with. You can grind XP to level them up, but you will eventually hit that genetic ceiling. Similar to explosiveness, I can grind box jumps as much as I want, but I will never jump like Zach LaVine. But then you have the grindable skills. These skills have no cap. You're not born with them, you start at level 1. This is your pattern recognition and automaticity. Your pattern recognition library isn't a gift. It's a database you built by grinding thousands of hours of in-game XP. Your automaticity isn't talent. It's the result of 10,000 reps that have freed your mind. How I think about it is players with elite feel have maxed out their already high skill cap for innate skills like processing speed and spatial awareness, whilst grinding out their pattern recognition and automaticity their whole lives leading up to the NBA. So, where does this feel engine actually show up on the court? The most obvious answer is playmaking. The genius level players are the ones running their proactive script. They aren't just reading the game, they're writing it, using a bevy of skills to manipulate the defense and create a pattern that doesn't exist yet. But feel isn't just for superstars. It shows up as reactive feel in players who seem to just know where to be. The cutter, whose scanner identifies the defender's head is turned and whose library instantly provides a backdoor solution. Or the offensive rebounder, whose library is so deep they have a quote-unquote solution file for how a shot from that player from that spot will land 70% of the time, so they position themselves accordingly. And feel isn't just an offensive skill. Its most powerful applications are on defense. A player like Draymond Green anchored a dynasty because his feel engine was elite. He snuffed out plays before they happened because his library of patterns was so advanced, he was reacting to your next move, not your current one. But this model also solves one of basketball's greatest mysteries, the specialist. How can a player like Rudy Gobert have genius level defensive feel, but middling or even poor offensive feel? The answer is automaticity. On defense, Gobert's movements and footwork are automatic. His CPU is at 0% load, leaving 100% of his mind free to run his feel engine, scanning, processing, and anticipating. But on offense, when he catches the ball on a short roll, his technical skills, dribbling, passing, are not automatic. His CPU spikes to 100% load just thinking about not fumbling the ball. He has no processing power left to run his feel engine. He can't scan, he can't read the patterns. He doesn't lack a feel engine, he lacks the automaticity on offense to run it. This is the ultimate link. Feel isn't just about having a great mind, it's about having the automatic skills to set it free. And this is why feel is such a powerful weapon in basketball. The very nature of the sport demands it. A sport like American football is a game of formulas. It's turn-based, it's stop-start. Yes, a quarterback still has to make elite feel reads, but the problem is largely defined before the snap. They can see the defensive alignment, they solve the problem in short, explosive bursts. Basketball is different. It's a game of flux. The problem is never set. It's a constant, fluid, high-speed series of decisions, morphing and changing every single second of the possession. This fluid state creates two fundamentally different types of plays: execution heavy and decision heavy. An execution heavy play is a spot up shot or a simple finish at the rim. The decision has already been made by the system or another player. This is something a large majority of players can be trained to do. But a decision heavy play, running a complex pick and roll, making the correct rotation in a chaotic scramble, or reading the entire floor from a short roll, this is where the game is won. These plays are rare, they're more valuable, and they place 100% load on your entire feel engine. This brings us to our final critical question. If feel is this powerful, is it a requirement for Stardom? The answer is no, because feel isn't a pass-fail test, it's a spectrum. You don't necessarily need genius level feel, so long as you can meet the minimum threshold. A player like Kawhi Leonard possesses a feel engine that is good enough. It's efficient enough to keep the defense honest. And when your technical skills like a perfect mid-range pull-up and your physical stats like freakish strength and hand size are 99, good enough is all you need. His overwhelming physical and technical gifts take over. And then you have the ultimate outlier, Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq is the brute force exception. His physical stats weren't just a 99, they were a 200. They broke the math of the game. He didn't need to read the library of solutions because he was the problem. It's a very similar case for role players as well. You can have successful role players who thrive in decision-heavy plays and execution, like a Derek White, Alex Caruso, or you can have an execution-heavy role player and be just as impactful. Someone like a Mitchell Robertson, OG Anunoby, or Daniel Gafford. Though I think OG has underrated feel. If you have extremely high feel level star in your team, having players who can thrive in execution-heavy plays just amplifies their decisions. So, feel is not magic. It's an invisible, complex system. It's the recipe versus the taste. It's the scales versus the improv. It's a character sheet of skill caps we're born with, and skill trees we're forced to grind. It's a scanner that maps the court, a library of past failures, and an engine that processes it all. It's a mind set free by automaticity to either read the present or write the future. In a sport and world obsessed with what we can measure, feel is the unmeasurable human element that breaks the system. It's the why behind the wow.